Hello and welcome to the first episode of MonWHO News. My name is Brian Stewartley. Remember to check out monwho.org for constant updates on the goings-on of the conference. Already, several themes have come to the forefront. For more, we go to our correspondent from Al Jazeera, Joel Balsam. Hi, Joel.
I'm Joel Balsam reporting for Al Jazeera. Western operations in the Middle East have led to devastating consequences. These nations have legitimized sending troops in the name of women's rights.
We really do believe that development will start with women's rights and will end there, and it needs to be a focus throughout.
That I think that these campaigns are to provide guidance, but not necessarily instill our Western values on them. There are, mind you, the Middle East is quite troubled with terrorist groups, Taliban and whatnot, and the foreign aid in the capacity that Canada has provided, to my knowledge, has not imparted too significant of a Western value.
Some Middle Eastern nations see women's rights as a conflict with Islamic values.
So I think Western nations really need to be respectful and understand a lot of the societal, cultural, as well as the religious norms of Saudi Arabia, specifically towards the tribal areas. I think a lot of the tribal areas still follow a lot of the cultural and religious norms, specifically dealing with women's education. And I think that they really need to be more considerate of this.
Canada allows abortion and says it's a matter of freedom for the women. So it's not really in Congress with our culture and the
I really think of this in a more broader scale. So when we say Middle Eastern countries, you really would think the stereotypical kind of point of view. But when you look at Iran, you have to realize that Iran's a lot more advanced, a lot more modernized than we give it credit for. So if you look at, for instance, the amount of women that are in schools currently, you see how many women are in the schools, and it's shocking to see that if you have that mentality that that Middle Eastern countries are that stereotypical sense that we have. So in a sense, to answer your question, I would say that these Western beliefs aren't so far off to what Iran in the Middle East is doing currently.
Only time will tell this weekend if cultural values get in the way of compromise on women's health. For Al Jazeera, I'm Joel Balsam.
Thanks, Joel. Moving on, American media has concentrated on the topic of abortion. Let's go to our CNN correspondent, Maris Smart, for her report. Hi, Maris.
Hi, Brian. The MonWHO conference is kicked off here in Montreal, and some main issues have already become readily apparent, even though we are still waiting for the regional blocs to convene. Topics such as technology, responsible foreign aid allocation, and the solutions towards achieving MG4 and MG5. Amongst all these topics, one seems to be the most controversial: abortion. Mostly illegal in Middle Eastern countries, but accepted and publicly funded in most European and North American countries, it is sure to be a topic that will spark controversy and possibly throw a wrench into negotiations. To get the full story, CNN has interviewed the Iranian delegate Shahab Hassanpour and the Canadian delegate Marion Muir.
Do you believe that it should be the right of the family to child to be aborted? So, but we probably would not want that.
Do you think that abortion is going to be a major factor in this conference?
I absolutely think it will. I believe the choices of mothers in fate of their pregnancies, whether they want to go through pregnancy, is very much a decision that will affect their health in the future. If a mother is in a situation where she cannot afford to raise a child, or if that child will be reared in a situation of poor health and where the mother suspects she cannot sustain a quality of life for that child, then I believe that is, if she were to continue with that decision, that would negatively impact her health for the rest of her life and ultimately contribute to these statistics that we're seeing. So I think that there should be a movement towards pro-choice, however, with caution. And probably, your next question is probably, well, what do you mean by within caution? I think that there are certain time periods in which a pregnancy could be terminated. And within Canada's policy is that you can terminate a pregnancy up until the day before birth, as long as there are known physical, mental, or social impacts, and the doctor administering the abortion must be able to say that this is the reason why the abortion was done. So that's the justification for it within Canada.
CNN was hoping to get an interview with the U.S. Unfortunately, they failed to show up for the first session. More on this tomorrow. I'm Mara Smart for CNN. Good night.
Thanks, Marius. Several delegates have mentioned to our journalists that they believe that improving infrastructure will help prevent many diseases throughout the regions targeted by the Millennium Development Goals. Our correspondent from SABC, Nathaniel Finestone, has more on this. Hi, Nathaniel.
Hello, I am Nathaniel Finestone, and I'm here representing the South African Broadcasting Corporation. And I'm here with a delegate from Kenya.
The main challenge is definitely trying to increase access in rural areas, just, I guess, so infrastructure such as roads, transportation, health clinics that are accessible.
This issue is incredibly difficult to deal with, especially when lack of resources and lack of expertise is coupled with poor education practices.
The types of issues they would be addressing would be to try and, I guess, raise the rate of births that are attended by skilled birth attendants.
I'm here representing the South African Broadcasting Corporation, and we've been looking at how Millennium Development Goals have been implemented in and across Africa.
That concludes our coverage for Day 1 of the 2011 MonWHO Conference. We'll be back tomorrow. Looks like a big day. Remember to check out the website at www.monwho.org for coverage of the conference as it happens. Thanks, and enjoy the social.